These are the Sony Walkman SS-WM20 folding portable speakers from 1982, an iconic piece of audio history. I managed to pick these up on eBay, but there's just one problem. One of the speakers doesn't work. So in this video, we're going to take a closer look, troubleshoot the issue, and hopefully bring this classic back to life. First, let's have a quick look at the speaker. We can see on here Sony model number SS-WM20, speaker system, impedance 8 ohms, power handling, it's got 0.2 watts nominal and 0.4 watts maximum. You can see the speaker grill on both sides, the Sony branding here, the hinge here with the cable wrapped around. And then for a size comparison, here's a WM33. You can see it's a little bit smaller and also a little bit narrower. And this would have come with a travel case as well. So it folds up quite small and neatly for travel purposes. So perfect for kind of on the go instead of using a pair of headphones. The way it then works is the cable is attached, you just unwind it. And when you stow it, you want the cable going down. So you can see how the cable goes into this part here. And you would have thought that would be a weak point because you're moving this a lot, but I'm not sure it is on this one. But anyway, that folds, that goes around there, go all the way around, and then you just kind of pop that in and it just grips in the plastic housing there. Anyway, once it's all unwound, you then just kind of move one of the speakers just slightly upwards. So this one here with the Sony, you can just pull slightly towards you just to get it off the hinges, and then it all just opens up on this kind of flexible hinge at the rear that you just saw. And again, we've got the Sony branding here with left over here. We've got the Walkman brand here as well, Walkman SS-WM20, and the right speaker there. And so then you could just position it however you want, flat like this, you know. But as I mentioned in the intro, there's a bit of a problem. So if we plug it into the Walkman and play it on a fairly low sound, so I don't get a strike, you can see right speaker, left speaker, nothing coming out of it at all. Easy to overlook, especially when it's closed, because you can't really tell where the sound's coming from. But the left speaker definitely isn't working on this. So yeah, an iconic piece of music equipment, but certainly not immune to wear and tear. So I think the only thing we can really do is open this up and see if there's anything obvious inside. To open this up, there only really seems to be these 6 screws, these ones here on the hinge and these ones here for the speakers. So I'm hoping that just by undoing, I mean, I'd probably start with the left and see if there's anything obvious, but it might be worth opening them both up just to double check. So the left-hand side is this one here. See if it wants to move. There we go. So it is coming away fairly easily. Potentially just something holding it in place, either a clip or some glue around there. So what I'll do is I'll just get the, I think that's what they call like spudgers, aren't they? A plastic spudger probably on this one so it doesn't mark up. I think it is more likely just going to be a clip, and if we can get it off without doing any damage. Yeah, I suspect there's a couple of catches. I can see them now. So there's a plastic catch just here and here. So obviously when it gets fitted, it kind of gets clicked on one end, put down, and then screwed in place. So it's just trying to get them out of that like channel or however they're clicked on. There's one, yes. Brilliant, finally. So what I ended up doing was I had to really pull it open. My smallest micro screwdriver in and out. So what you can see, there's those 2 clips, and then they sit right inside there, which is why it's so hard to get them out. So that's really good news. So we're down to our speaker, and I guess for some of this we need to just see, is it the speaker that's dead or is it the cable? And I'm just wondering what's the best way to test that. You can put power into a speaker, can't you? And alternatively, you would have to take the wires off this speaker and put them onto another one. Let me just see if I've got a spare, because I think I have, well, like a spare, like round one I would use for a lot of toys. Bear with me. So this is all I'm talking about, just a replacement speaker. I use them in a lot of toys. It's an 8 ohm 0.5 watt speaker. So if I unsolder these and then just put them onto this here, the positive and negative there, I'm not sure which way around these are, but one way or the other, and then play through the Walkman again, if we're getting some sound, then we know it's the speaker that's gone. Just literally tacking it on. Right, so let's fire this up. Hopefully you've been getting my audio. I just realised I'd dropped my microphone on the floor. I can hear sound coming through this one. And also, it's definitely coming from that other one as well. So we've got a speaker fail, it would seem. But what I'll try and do is just re-tack these back onto there. Maybe they just lost a bit of connection. If that still doesn't work, then what I'll do is I'll have a look online and see if there's a suitable replacement to fit inside. More clips to be careful of. So everything's really tightly housed, which is good. Just don't want to break anything as I'm removing bits. There we are. So we've got our cables that run from where we attached it that then go down here, and usually it's that these wires have kind of perished somewhere with the side of there, these ones here. Just try and take this back. So, I mean, I'll give it one little go of just trying to put some wire from here onto here and just see if it makes any difference. Yeah, I need to get the power, or arguably I could just like stick it straight onto there. I'm not sure it's going to work though. Let's see. I mean, that's just tacked onto that base plate there, but I'm pretty sure that's not how it works. No sound there. So I think the best thing to do is I'll go and see if I can get a like-for-like replacement or just something similar that will go inside there. If not, maybe I just end up putting one of those inside. Okay, welcome back, and the replacement parts have arrived and they look like this. They're very similar, so what I went for was something that had a little bit of a see-through design to it, so it mirrored this one. You can get them like this, but kind of a solid black, but I thought that would work better. And basically the same power, so it's an 8 ohms, 0.5 watts. I think this was 0.4, wasn't it? And then something where the depth is about the same. And that's just going to be going into here, and I'm going to replace both sides. And I think you'll agree that actually that looks pretty good. And even when you're looking through the back, the silhouette of the speaker looks pretty good in there too. So I'm pretty happy with that. Having just kind of offered it up initially, there is one thing, which is it is ever so slightly fatter than this one here. We're talking probably around maybe two millimeters deeper. So although this will go on, there's a slight bow just in the back here. So the only thing I can really do with that, other than try and find another pair of speakers that works, and I think these should be okay, is they've obviously stuck a rubber O-ring onto the front of these speakers. You can see just running around here, and this O-ring's probably around 1 millimeter. So what I want to do is reduce the size of this O-ring. I'm going to leave a little bit, probably just help with vibration and things like that. I thought the first thing I could try is probably just getting a sharp blade and just trying to cut it down by about 1 millimeter or so. So that's what I'll do first, just with a scalpel. So that's going down reasonably nicely. There we go, so just trimmed that back down. There's still a little bit around here, so it's not directly metal on anything, but equally it's sitting on this plastic here anyway. I'll go and do that with the other one because, as I mentioned, I'm going to replace both the speakers rather than just doing half a job. Okay, so that's number 2 done. So although if they're going to fit really snugly and be held in place, my intent now is to make sure the speaker is as central as possible against the grill, so all these little corners are exactly the same. And then I will just put a tiny dot of hot glue just around the edges, and that's also because that clip there broke off as well. So I'll put some hot glue on now. Okay, so now it's time to just resolder those onto here. Just so you know, as I considered changing this cord, I think it was called, it's like mono to stereo with bare wires. So what you've got here is the red wire, here you've got the white wire, then you have like a bare wire that goes with it as well. But the cord was really long, so I didn't want to start having to like cut things back and messing around and changing all this stuff. So as this is in fairly good condition, I decided to leave it as it was. And for the same reason, when I'm now putting this back on here, although you've got these like little end eyelets, which would be quite nice to attach to, I can't quite reach. So I think what I'll be doing instead is just putting a little blob of solder and just going onto the base points there instead. It's a good fix there. That's the soldering reed done. So all I can really do now is put it back together and hope that it's all going to work. So let's start putting the casing back on with the two, like, so basically the end bits and the screws, and then I'll grab something for us to test it on. Okay, so here they are, and those speakers actually look really good inside. The only downside is there is a slight bow to the back here and here, which if I was selling them I'd have to swap the speakers out, but I'm going to be using these hopefully for just testing and stuff in the future. So I'm happy with them for now until I maybe swap them out down in the future. But I mean, that's all irrelevant if they don't work, so let's see if they do work. What I've done is I've just taken the jack and put it into a very old iPad. I'm currently moving a whole load of stuff around in the house and moving the workshop upstairs, etc. But I found an old iPad and some copyright-free Synthwave, so I'll hit play and I'm bringing the volume now. As we can see, we've brought these speakers nicely back to life, which is great, both sides working. They're only going to be as loud as you're going to get out of a 4.5 watt passive speaker, and obviously a lot of it's just going to be kind of trebly, that you're not going to get a whole lot of bass from it, but equally there was plenty of volume coming out of there, which is good. All still closes up. Yeah, just a nice vintage item to have in the collection. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget you can like to show your support, or subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I'll also pop another video up here, or usually up here. You'll probably enjoy that as well. And until the next one, all the best, take care, and see ya.